Well, good morning, everyone. I am so proud to be here this morning, welcoming all of you to the Ancaster Fairgrounds in my beautiful riding of Flamborough-Glanbrook for a very exciting announcement that has taken many years for a program that will have a tremendous, profound impact on the horse racing industry and the horse industry here in Ontario. First of all, I would like to acknowledge my colleagues from the Minister of Labour, Minister Monte McNaughton, my dear friend MPP Bob Bailey from Sarnia-Lambton, my seatmate MPP Randy Pettapiece from Perth-Wellington, and the quickest talker, the fastest talker in the legislature, Bill Walker, the MPP for Bruce-Grey-Owen Sound. Since our government took office, we have been focused on job training and job creation. And the program that is being announced this morning will help individuals train for rewarding careers in the horse industry, including acquiring the skills to work on farms and to work at racetracks. Now, I've been working on this initiative for a very long time with a dear friend of mine, Jim Whelan, who is the president of the Ontario Harness Horse Association. And there are hundreds and hundreds of young people who would embrace a career in the horse industry, but they simply don't have the background. They simply don't know how to approach agriculture, who to talk to, and how to get into this industry. They didn't grow up on a rural farm in Ontario. But this program will train individuals interested in working with and caring for horses on farms and at racetracks. For a few years now, finding workers skilled in the horse industry has been very difficult, but this training program will help employers find the workers that they need. I'm going to go off script for a minute and acknowledge how, or at least explain how we arrived here today. Under the previous government, rural Ontario was abandoned and the horse race industry was decimated when the SAR program was canceled. But when we were elected, under the leadership of Jim Whelan, our premier made a commitment to help the industry. And then the Minister of Labour, who has moved mountains to get here today, who has really made a huge difference in a number of sectors, including, I will tell you, the skilled trades sector. Prior to our government being elected, people didn't recognize the value and importance of the skilled trades industry. But this minister has truly focused a lot of attention on that particular industry. And today we have young people and people who are re-entering the workforce, looking at an industry that is promising rewarding careers, an industry that pays well, that rewards well, and that can give young people a good future. But we're also here today because he recognized the value of the equine industry. But more importantly, we're here because of Jim Whelan. I met Jim Whelan years and years ago when I first got into politics, and he drove me around in his truck and introduced me to a number of trainers, breeders, groomers who were losing their livelihood. These were people who had grown up on a family farm, who were struggling to make ends meet. And Jim never gave up. He was tenacious. We had rallies at Queen's Park with horses. Forget about the truckers. We had horses driving around Queen's Park. We wanted to draw, and he, under his leadership, wanted to bring attention to this industry. And he never gave up. And today we are here to announce a program that will have a profound impact because of these three people. Jim Whelan, our premier, and the next man who's coming to the podium, Minister of Trade, I've got to give you your proper title here, the Minister of Labour, sorry, Monte McNaughton. Thank you all.
Well, thank you so much, Donna, for that very kind introduction. It's so great to be here today in Ancaster at the fairgrounds here. Just a beautiful facility that has, I was told before I got up here, about 650,000 visitors every single year, so making a huge difference in this area. I too want to thank Jim and Brian Trope and just all the families and supporters of horse racing in the province of Ontario. Jim, you've done tireless work, as Donna mentioned, to fight for these jobs, fight for these families, and fight for the industry in the province. We're forever grateful to you and your team and all the supporters. I also want to just thank all the harness horse owners, trainers, and drivers, and everybody in the industry that serves all of our communities. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by many of my caucus colleagues who have fought hard for horse racing here in Ontario. I want to thank MPPs Bob Bailey, Randy Pettapiece, and Bill Walker for being strong advocates for our horsemen and horsewomen, their families, and their communities. I also want to take a moment just in particular to thank MPP Randy Pettapiece for his service to the province of Ontario. Randy is the parliamentary assistant. Randy is the parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, and I can tell you he's done a hell of a job over the last 3 years, but most importantly, since 2011 when he was first elected with a number of us to stand up for his constituents and all those in agriculture. So Randy, thank you for your service to Perth-Wellington and to the province of Ontario. As Donna mentioned, it really wasn't long ago that horse racing needed strong fighters at Queen's Park. When the previous Liberal government canceled the Slots at Racetrack program, they devastated the racing industry. They cut this crucial program with no transition plan or support for racetracks. Thousands of good-paying jobs in rural Ontario were lost. Horse people and their families had their livelihoods destroyed, and many breeders were forced to take their beautiful horses from the track to the livestock exchange. The Liberal record on this file is simply tragic and cruel. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, small towns across Ontario are on the comeback. Our government celebrates and supports the important contribution of over $2 billion that the equine sector makes to Ontario's economy every single year. That is why horse racing and the industry now is growing in Ontario. In September, there were more than 1,000 unfilled jobs for groomers and animal care workers in Ontario. These unfilled jobs are paychecks waiting to be collected by people with the right skills. And that is what brings us here today. I'm pleased to announce that our government is investing $2.1 million to support the Ontario Harness Horse Association in delivering a great new training program. This program is helping farms, racetracks, breeders, and training centers find the qualified workers they need to care for their horses. And it's preparing 250 people for rewarding careers where they can earn, on average, more than $20 per hour. Through a combination of free online training and paid hands-on placements, participants will learn about horse behavior, handling, and nutrition. Financial support is available to help offset their travel and accommodations costs and also help employers offset time seasoned staff spend mentoring. At the end of the program, graduates will have the skills and experience they need to land good jobs they can be proud of. Our investment today is helping the horse businesses grow, and we're giving people the hand up they need to embark on an exciting new career. Jim, I wish you, your partners, and all your students much success. You're creating opportunities for people who always dreamt of working with horses and introducing more hardworking men and women to the equine world. And that is truly life-changing. Before I introduce, I think the star attraction here today, I do just want to pay tribute specifically to local MPP Donna Skelly. Donna mentioned this, but she really has been the driving force behind this program with our caucus colleagues and working with the OHHA on this training program. So Donna, thank you so much for your leadership. And now I'm really excited to hand it over to Hannah, who's the first participant in this program, to share her life experience and what brought her here to the horse industry. So Hannah, I'll now turn it over to you. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. I'm Hannah. I'm the first person, well, as Monty said, through this program. I started trying to find a job in the special effects industry, and for various different reasons found it wasn't for me. I found myself working with a job clinic in Hamilton, trying to find something that would work. And one day I had presented to me this opportunity. Would you like to work with horses? Having liked horses since I was a kid, how many little girls haven't gone, Mommy, I want a pony? I figured, this is a great opportunity to get, skills that I personally would have liked to have earlier on, and possibly even find a job doing it, which was beyond my realm of what I thought was even possible. I went through the program. I met Ashley and all of the other coordinators, did their online program, and then working with Ashley and Jim Whelan, I managed to find placement fairly early on afterward. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to work with these incredible animals that I never thought I would be able to even get close to. Yeah, and I owe a lot of my current success to Jim and his team, who've been so welcoming to me and have done, everything in their power to make me feel as comfortable as possible, finding a job, finding a placement that works for me. And I'm really fortunate that I even get to work with Jim at his farm. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jim, President of the Ontario Harness Horse Association.
Thank you, Hannah. Good morning, everyone, and welcome, and thank you for coming out to this beautiful Lancaster Fairgrounds. Great to see so many people here on a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful and remarkable facility, something that everyone in the community can be proud of, and we are. To begin with, I want to thank the Honourable Minister Monte McNaughton and his incredible staff for all the support they've shown to the equine industry. You folks have all been amazing and an absolute joy to work with, which is sometimes not the case with government, but I think we have one of the best governments in the province we've ever had. And I may be a bit biased, but they've been excellent, all of the government people to work with. I want to also acknowledge my very own MPP, Donna Skelly, for her work and support and being here today. Excuse me. She certainly understands the importance of rolling out this jobs, skills and development program and partnership we have formed with BIP, the University of Guelph, Equine Guelph, and to ensure its success. Rural Ontario has a very long history of producing some of the best equine athletes, talented horse people in the world. Thoroughbreds, standardbreds, quarter horses, show horses, jumping, event, pleasure, working horses, all of these beautiful animals play a significant role in the fabric of rural Ontario. In this program, the EEP ensures it's the Equine Education Employment Program for Ontario in partnership with the Ministry of Labour, ensures a sustainable and bright future by expanding our base of caretakers and industry participants. But make no mistake, this isn't easy work. I've been driving racehorses for 50 years. The hours are long, the conditions are grueling at times, the challenges and disappointments, the happiness and heartbreak, all part of it, but at the end it's very rewarding. But there's nothing I would have rather done in my life. It's a career I chose, and I was amazed that I could be able to raise a family of 5 kids in this province and make a living and a decent living and support my family and their needs. As now the president of the Ontario Harness Horse Association, I'm pleased to stand here today with all our partners, knowing that others will have the same opportunities that my family has enjoyed. As an association, OA is dedicated to ensuring the sustainability of the racing industry. Rural folks understand the value of hard work, so that's just what we have done. We have worked hard First, to ensure the government understands the financial contributions our industry makes to the Ontario economy. And as Minister McNaughton mentioned, it's billions, hundreds of billions a year to the Ontario economy. And it's spread throughout the entire province. Second, to convince government that supporting the industry is not a handout, but a hand up to the generations of honest, hardworking people we have dedicated lives to their lives to this industry. And I'm here today to say that this government, the Doug Ford government, gets it. So I thank the Premier. I just can't thank him enough for him and his government for not only listening, but more importantly, for acting on the needs and concerns for the women and men of Ontario. That's important because we can't compete with the big money lobbyists and the special interest groups in Queen's Park. Our voices matter also as hardworking people in rural Ontario. The Premier's unbridled support for our future has confirmed that, as the Honourable Monte McNaughton, Minister of Labour, says, a worker is a worker is a worker. And that's Monte's quote that's becoming quite famous in rural Ontario. Today's announcement goes a long way to ensuring that our industry will have skilled, motivated, and dedicated workers for years to come. And for that, we thank everybody involved from the bottom of our hearts. Sincerely thank and really feel proud to be here today to see that we're finally moving forward to sustain our agricultural industry of the equine industry and look after all our special animals and athletes on both sides, human and animal related. So thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to our Honourable Minister.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Jim. I have to say, for being in the horse racing industry for 50 years and you're only 55 years of age, you certainly started very young. I also just want to take a couple of moments to specifically thank Bob Bailey and Bill Walker for joining us here today. There's been a lot of battles to support the men and women in the horse racing industry over the last 10 years, and they've been there every step of the way to support all of you. So thank you again for joining us today. And with that, we're happy to take questions if there are any. We'll be around afterwards as well.
I think we have one.
Kevin?
Yeah, just one question. So this is on top of the $105 million that the provincial government provided to the horse racing industry?
This is specifically a training program to train 250 people to pick up careers in the horse industry. And this is an additional $2.1 million to upskill and train people for these meaningful jobs that are out there.
And what's the timeline? Over how many years? And it's 250 people. Again, is that over how long?
Great question. So Hannah was the first participant in the program. It started late fall, and it'll be running throughout this year to train 250 people for these great jobs. Great. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.